Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be a casual, fun conversation with my good friend Ash. I wanted to get his perspective on what his life is like doing content and managing, running Aftershock Media Group, because he's got a lot of different things going on, comes from different communities in gaming, and has kind of come into Raid as a full-time creator for Raid. So wanted to get some perspective as to what his daily life is like, what a normal week is like, and just talk about some different things kind of going on, have a podcast style discussion. So hope you enjoy. Let's get into it. Alrighty, and now joined by my good friend here, Ash. How you doing, brother?
Chosen, what's up, man? I'm doing fantastic. Can you hear my fan right now? No?
No,
Bit?
not really. It seems all right.
It's very hot out today here in New England. How you doing, man?
Hey, can't complain. It's been a crazy week with all the new info coming out and kind of learning about the direction of the dupe system and the Reddit AMA, and then everybody getting reactions to it. So yeah, it's been wild. So it'll be fun to kind of touch base with you and just kind of have a casual chat.
Yeah, it's been crazy, man. It's been quite a week. A lot of things to talk about, right? At least if you look at it glass half full, plenty of topics for us to give our opinions on, right?
Yeah, I mean, at least a lot of new stuff is better than no new stuff.
Yeah. Even if it's ranting, at least as a content creator, you like anything newsworthy, It's good.
For sure. And I thought, since I hadn't had you on the channel for a while, I had done a video a while back about kind of what it's like in my life, the daily kind of just routine and what a normal week is like. And I thought you have kind of a unique perspective as to everyone else in like the Raid content creation scene, because coming from different games and you did lots of different games in the industry, and then with AMG going on. So I thought it'd be fun just to get like your perspective of what your plan is every day and how it compares to mine and some of us other.
Yeah, bro, I'm excited to talk, man. I feel like everybody probably feels this way, but I feel like I live a very boring life in some regards, and also, a little bit different than your average person too. So yeah, I'm happy to chat, man.
Cool. So just kind of, well, first of all, what's your thoughts on like, because I know how Hades had talked about this in a recent video, and what's your like doing other content on like other games? Because like I know you had your main channel and you were kind of like timid about diving into Raid on your main channel, and like, am I going to get hate for this? What's your, because I know Hades had said he got a lot of hate for like trying to dive into other stuff. So how do you kind of manage that? What's your thoughts on trying to diversify a little bit?
I think that for a content creator, it's a very thin line of how much is too much. How much is too much diversifying from your main game. The reason that people subscribe to you, because I can totally empathize with a viewer, right? If you're going to be putting out videos on different games all the time, that's generally not the reason that I subscribe to the channel. However, there is kind of a threshold of tolerance. I mean, I think that a lot of viewers understand that content creators make the majority of our money by doing promotional content, covering other games. So, I think that you just have to kind of find where that point of comfort is for your audience, and then try to stick to that, right? You don't want to overdo it. But for me, I'm a big believer, especially now, it's very, very difficult to be a variety gamer. It's challenging to cover a bunch of different games and to really command a large audience and a lot of views on your content. So I'm a big fan of just sticking with one game for the most part, and an occasional, maybe a sponsored video here or there. I've done a couple on my Raid channel, only a couple though, and I've done quite a few on my main channel over 7 years.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
I try to keep it one game. That's why I made a second channel for Raid.
Yeah, and so you're not really going to have a channel that covers multiple games. You're gonna kind of stick to one thing. And if a game grabs you like Raid did, where like, okay, like I actually am going to add this to my daily life, you're just gonna go ahead and make another channel for that.
Yeah, man. It's all about click-through rate on YouTube, right? So if you start as a one-game channel and then you add another game that's not very popular to your audience, YouTube doesn't differentiate, okay, this is a video on Great Hall development, this is a video on the best army and Clash of Clans. They just look at how many people click on your video, right? So if a bunch of your videos are tanking, they're going to be less likely to surface other content, like your normal videos, and it will end up killing your channel. I've seen a lot of channels kind of die by trying to transition to a variety channel from a one-game channel. I think it's okay to switch games on a channel, though. Like if one game's dying out and you really are passionate and your viewers are passionate about another game, I think you can make a switch. I have on my other channel as well. And that's a whole different story. But in terms of adding a bunch of different games, it's not impossible, but it's very challenging. So I would rather just start a new channel, and let my subscribers know about it. But then I'm not at risk of harming my main channel.
Okay. Yep. And you said you switched games before. When was that? Like on
yeah, 2016. I switched from Clash of Clans after a couple years to Clash Royale on my main channel. So yeah.
And how did that go? Did your viewership like tank and it took like a year to recover? Like what was that process like?
It was the same IP, so it was a little bit of an easier transition. Obviously, Clash, Supercell like genre.
Yeah.
But what I did was I double uploaded both videos, a video on each game every day, and I did that for about 6 to 7 months in 2016. And then eventually, Clash Royale got more views than Clash of Clans, like as a base. And then I started, I kind of tilted the scales the other way. I started to go, okay, I'll put out 3 Clash of Clans videos a week instead of doing, 7 of each because I was burning out. And then slowly but surely over the course of that rest of that year, and started 2017, I was just doing Clash Royale. I didn't have time to really cover 2 games. So yeah. I think that was maybe not the healthiest way for my own like mental sanity, but it was also it was a way that worked out, to switch games.
Yeah, and that was kind of like a soft transition. It was like kind of a slow molded into your, because like for me, I do raid. There's like 90% of my content, but I really like Summoner's Glory. I play it on the side. I'm not going to do enough content on it to justify like just make a whole new channel and then upload 1 video a week. So it's like I try to sprinkle it in like once every week or 2, throw a video out there. But yeah, I like getting your opinion on that as well.
Yeah, man. I started to advertise Raid. I mean, we've told this story before, but you were like my first guest, and this is like 2 years ago now. But like you were my first guest on my main channel doing a dedicated sponsored video for Raid, and I got hooked on the game. I didn't expect to. Like I was just with everybody else thinking it was just a meme, But I actually really liked it. A few of my friends were playing, so that competitive kind of element was there too. And of course, like I'd be a fool. They were paying me for me to make content with you on my main channel, Plarium, and I would be a fool if not. Of course, I approached them. I'm like, hey, how much will you pay me to make a YouTube channel on only Raid all the time? And of course, they didn't pay me because they don't pay, content creators. But it was worth a try. But either way, I knew, a little bit, whatever, tearing down the fourth wall or whatever it is. But like, I knew the CPMs and the ad revenue was pretty crazy for Raid because the people who play this game generally spend more than your average person. So I was like, you know what, this would be a pretty good long-term investment, and I love the game, so why not?
Yeah, that was fun back then when everything was kind of getting jump started, and I still remember that cold out. That was a good time. But yeah,
man.
So diving into the original topic, walk me through your plan, kind of a normal day. Like how's it? Because it's much different than some of us and how we operate.
Yeah, so a day in the life. Well, like I said, I started YouTube in 2014, so I've been around for a little while, and I got into the kind of the YouTube grind, and I was uploading daily pretty much since the beginning. And then I want to say in like 2018, 2019, me and my best friend, Powerbang Gaming, is another YouTuber. He covers PUBG Mobile. As you know, I know that you're really close to a lot of raid guys as well, and there's no roadmap in this industry, right? When you have an ally, a true friend and a true ally who kind of has your back, it can be kind of competitive, and sometimes creators can be petty as well. But having like that support system alongside of you, like a friend who really does like have your best interests, was so important to me. So we kind of really struck up a friendship, I think in like 5, 6, 7 years ago, and then we're both like, dude, we're getting kind of old here, man. We looked around the content scene, and like we were both going on 40, and it's just like, how long are we gonna do this? We're full-time content creators, and not that old people can't be content creators or middle-aged people, but we're like, what is our exit plan? What is our plan B for when we're not gonna grind YouTube videos for 20, 30 years, are we? So then we started a company, Aftershock Media Group. And that was in 2019. And since then, now that takes up the majority of my time, even though I upload on 2 channels every day. So what I basically do is I wake up early, 6, 7 o'clock, and go to the gym. while I'm at the gym, I'm trying to like brainstorm the next day's video. I try to work one day ahead on both of my channels, you know? So unless it's like something super newsworthy. So I'm trying to brainstorm video ideas at the gym. I usually leave the gym, I come back down, and I sit down, I try to be efficient. You know, when I started YouTube, I would like take like 20 takes to get through a video, you know? Like, I didn't say that right. But I don't know, maybe like 5 years ago, I'm just like, no way, I'm done. I'm one taking everything. And if I mistake or if I make a fool out of myself, then I'm just going to edit like into a funny self-deprecating joke, you know? So that saved me a lot of time. So now I just sit down, I press record, and then 30 minutes or 20 minutes, I'm done. That's it, you know? So I do that for both channels, the whole process from start to finish. With some light editing, I send it to a better editor to touch up some of my editing. It takes me only a couple hours every day, you know? My other channel is all guest-based, so I have to book the guest the day before as well, like who I'm going to have on the channel. Because I suck at the game, so I have to have guests on to tell me about...
Clash Royale, or?
Yeah.
You have a guest every day?
Every day, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, because going back to 2016, when I started Clash Royale, I'm like, wait a second. I kind of suck at this game. It's a very high-skill game. So how am I going to make content if no one's going to watch me play? So then I thought I could just be kind of like a hub where I just have a guest every day, you know, who's really good at the game. I'll ask them questions and blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of what that channel is. Now, you know, 5+ years later on Clash Royale, I have the network that is pretty easy. Like, people reach out to me all the time now and saying, hey, I have this deck. Can I get on the channel? In the beginning, it was a lot more networking and, hey, could you please come on? I'm starting a YouTube channel, whatever, you know? Yeah. So that's that channel. This channel, I'm done. And then usually most of my colleagues are all on the West Coast and I'm on the East Coast, Boston based. So I can get my personal work done before noon, and then everybody's waking up at AMG. And then the rest of the day is kind of focused on that. We do production work, so like in-game events, a lot of them for PUBG Mobile. We've done YouTube Gaming and VidCon and Brawl Stars and a bunch of other games as well. So we do live big events, production. We do consulting, so consulting with a lot of developers out there, like community programs, influencer programs, stuff like that. And then we do we represent a bunch of amazing content creators such as yourself, right?
I got my AMG cup here.
Heck yeah, man! Repping the brand, I love it. So yeah, man. I mean, we have a big team. We have 23 employees now, and you know, it's all testament to their hard work at this point, you know, like we do, you know, mostly just boring meetings all day, to be totally honest with you, you know, but, yeah, that's kind of a day in the life. So I'm a single dad as well. So I have split custody of my child, whom is just my world. So 3 or 4 nights a week, depending on the week, I have him. So we just kind of usually take time without a device or without a screen for a few hours, every evening. And that's kind of my life, man.
Okay.
Not exciting.
Do you ever set aside like this is hard. This is where I struggle. Like setting aside like a day off or like a weekend off. It's hard to step away and completely unplug for a couple of days. How do you handle that?
Yeah, so the reason I'm a single dad is because for a long time I also struggled with that, right? Like I sucked at relationships, man. I went through a lot of tough times as a content creator, like in not as a content creator, but in real life, you know. I lost my brother very tragically, and I lost my mom, which got me started into content creation, and I kind of coped with it by not grieving, right? Which is the worst thing to do, right? And I ended up just kind of becoming a workaholic, and I sacrificed all my relationships, my friendships, and it was a big mistake in hindsight. It is Mental Awareness Month. I saw you put out a great video, by the way, with Hades on that, and I think it's a really important topic because you can almost use content creation as a crutch in a huge time sink, because unlike a lot of other careers and jobs out there, and I guess entrepreneurs will relate to this, a day can never end. Like, we could sit in front of a computer, there'd always be something to do from the very beginning to, you know, 24 hours a day. You could work for 24 hours a day at improving something, teaching yourself something or branding, whatever it may be. So that's kind of what I did, you know? So I struggled for that for a long time, but more recently, I want to say the last maybe year, maybe since COVID, you know, started. For the last year, I have taken all Sundays off. So I take Sundays off, spend the whole day, like, basically not doing or thinking about anything AMG or YouTube related, unless it's a huge fire that's burning right now that we have to put out. But so, yeah, I mean, it's been somewhat challenging, but it's funny. I'm not sure if you've gone through this, but once you do it, it's just like, oh, that's not that bad. You know, like once I adjusted to taking a day off, it's just like, wow, I kind of like this, you know? So are you getting any better at it?
Yeah, like you said, there's always something to do. So
Yeah.
like even at midnight, like there's something you want to research. There's like something to prepare for tomorrow. There's somebody you should like be collabing with or
Yeah.
so it's really hard to like stop for the day. And but yeah, I've gotten to the point where like once a month I try to like go out of town, see family, see a friend, take like 36 hours and just kind of unplug. Like I'll have a video ready that I can put out while I'm out of town, but I'll
Same.
at least like unplug for 36 hours. I try to do that about once a month or so, but otherwise, yeah, it's really hard to you look up and it's, you know, midnight and you're like, geez, what happened?
Yeah, dude, like I wanted to be so productive today, and like you never feel like it's done. But yeah, man, I think that you know, I've really prioritized my mental health a bit more in the last few years, really, because even though it's only been the last year I've taken like a day off essentially every week, but I'm also, you know, just better habits, right? Like waking up earlier. When I first went full time 5 years ago, I was just like, wow, now I can sleep till 9. I can sleep till 10. I can go to sleep at 5 every morning. Like it's almost like you're a kid again, you know? And where I worked a day job where I had to get up at like 6 o'clock every morning before that. So I kind of fell off the rails a little bit. And I realized that, you know, stoicism and discipline in a lot of ways, at least for somebody with my, you know, character type, personality type, is really important. You know, really important to hold myself accountable with a pretty rigid schedule, and you know, like meditating and stuff like that has helped me quite a bit. So I think all of that stuff is beneficial overall.
Yeah, I talked about that when I discussed the topic, how I set an alarm 6 days a week, even though I technically don't have to. But I
Mhm.
don't want to, you know, fall into the trap of sleeping till noon and now all of a sudden, like, so I still try to act like it's, you know, a job I have to wake up for just to keep that like normal adult structure.
Yeah, it's a great mentality too to have that, you know, because I feel like, geez, I was so unproductive when I slept till like, you know, like 11 or 10 o'clock or whatever it was, you know, because you always feel like you're playing catch up, you know. So I think that, you know, yeah, it's been good for me.
Cool. Awesome. And then the last topic I want to talk to you about was, now that you've done a few different games, you've been in a few different communities, what at what point were you having the most fun? Like which did you enjoy the most? We'll put you on the spot here.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's an easy one for me because, like, I think you can probably relate to this. I'm sure every creator can probably relate to this, but it was, for me, the first couple years were like really fun. Obviously, I didn't care about any the money. It was just a hobby, you know, and it was fun. And I was grinding so hard then, you know, and I was trying everything. I was messaging. Heck, like I'm not too proud to admit this now, but I made like 6 fake accounts on, like, they had like a forums for like Clash of Clans back then. I made like 6 accounts, and I'm like, wow, that Ash guy sure is good. I just discovered this. Like, it was awful, man. Like it was like sleazy, you know. But in reality, it's funny because I actually was reading like a Benjamin Franklin biography, and not to get too far off the path, but like he would do that in his early career. He would like write in editorials talking about that Ben Franklin guy is amazing under different pen names, and I'm like, I should do that. So but grinding and trying to get noticed by a developer, you know. And then for me, the most rewarding time was finally getting noticed. And I know that Plarium really, you know, I was going to say they do kind of not the best job at this, but frankly, it's been difficult because as the content creator, you know, ecosystem really flourished with Plarium, so did COVID, you know, so they haven't really had that many opportunities to like get us together. But I went to Finland like 30 times to visit Supercell headquarters. They flew us around the world. We really had like just amazing experiences as kind of ambassadors to the game, you know. So I think my first trip to Finland, you know, in 2014 was my most memorable moment. Like that's when I was just like, wow, like I've made it. These are the people that made this damn game, you know, that I've been watching on other YouTube channels cover for a couple years, you know. So that was the best, you know. But I must say that, you know, I'm not just saying this because it's a raid channel and it's a raid audience, but the raid community is, in some ways, they're more negative and toxic about the game than the Supercell community. And obviously, I've dealt with each now for, you know, a couple years in raid and a long time with Clash. But it's really nice to deal with an older demographic as well in Raid, right? So my average viewer is like 25 to 35 age range, or 25 to 45 if I make it a little bit bigger. Whereas in Clash Royale, it's like 15 to 25. And I feel like with my age, like I get way, even if they're ranting, my comments are way better on the Raid channel than the Clash channel because they're more thoughtful, more constructive. They're a little bit like more my age group, I guess. And I guess like that appeals to me. So I do think that the overall Raid community is really, really cool. Like, I think that looking back now, I'm more of a mentor role to a lot of people in Clash in the Supercell ecosystem, whereas Raid is kind of a fresh start, you know, and it's honestly been really, really cool because the group of content creators that Raid has is, you know, starting with yourself, is really a tight-knit group. And honestly, the first 6 months to a year that I covered this game, like, I felt like kind of everybody not hated me, but like, I don't know, like, who's this dude with like a big channel cover another game who advertised Raid coming into our space, you know? And I totally get that.
Who's this guy cash grabbing another Raid?
Yeah, kinda, yeah. But like, I always truthfully like admired how close and how collaborative the Raid creators are. You don't really see that in many genres or in many games. So that's been really cool to watch as well.
Yeah, similar to you, I've like done content on other games and been in lots of other communities, StarCraft, Diablo, Raid, and yeah, I would say my favorite, just like you, would be that first, like being like casting professional StarCraft games. I just loved it. I absolutely, because like StarCraft is such an amazing spectator experience because usually the spectators don't have more information than the players. Like if you're watching a chess match, you're looking at the same board the players are. You're watching a sports game. You're looking at the same field the players are. In StarCraft, you can see things that they can't. So you can see how this professional player is reacting when you have all the information and they don't. And once you get past the learning curve and you can experience that, it's such an amazing spectator sport. I loved casting that. But you're absolutely right. The Raid community is just like out of this world. I can't believe, like, the way the content creators work with each other and support each other and collaborate, and the way that the community answers questions for newer players and is active every day in videos and in streams. It's really, I've never seen anything like that before.
Me neither, man. I guess early days in Clash of Clans for me were I guess kind of similar because they have like kind of a little bit of an older demo and a more hardcore and friendly kind of ecosystem. So I do see some similarities there, but truthfully, I agree. There's a lot to complain about in Raid Shadow Legends, but like we wouldn't be here if we didn't love the game. And I think that most people deep down feel probably the same way. Like, because they wouldn't play or they wouldn't complain if they really, really, truly hated and despised the game. So I think that even though there's a lot rightfully to complain about at times in this game, I feel like at the end of the day, it comes from a place of passion for it. And that's like, you can tell when a community has that, you know? So that's why it appeals to me as well.
Yeah, it reminds me of something my high school football coach used to say is, you shouldn't worry about me yelling at you because it means I still care. You should worry when I quit even bothering.
Yes, yes, yes. Because every game, like every audience of every game says the same thing. Like dead game after the game's been out for over a year, right? Dead game, dying game, die. But like the truth is just like your coach in high school. It's like no. When the game is a dying game, no one says dying game because there's no one there talking about it. You know,
Yeah.
Like, that's the true testament to a dying game.
Yeah, for sure. Well, awesome, man. It's been a good chat. I know you're busy. You got other AMG stuff to get to. I don't want to keep you for an hour, but is there anything you wanted to touch on before we wrap up, or anything you wanted to mention?
No, dude. Like, I'm a super open book. I'm not like on a time squeeze. So if you have any questions, it's cool, or topics. But otherwise, nah, man. Like, I just want to thank you again for getting me into this game, I guess. Like, looking back at our first video, it's still out there somewhere. It probably has more dislikes than likes because it was like Raid Shadow Legends on a non-Raid channel, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. At the end of the day, like, I just remember how big of a noob I was, and you were super cool, man. I think that, I forgot who it was. I don't think they even work at Plarium anymore, but the person who worked at Plarium suggested I collaborated with you, and I just wanted to thank you because I do feel like, truthfully, that you are, in a lot of ways, kind of that person that kind of brings everybody together in the community, you know, and not just creators, but just like a lot of just like topical things like this, like videos like this. So I think they're really cool. So keep up the good work, man.
Hey, I appreciate the kind words. And yeah, that was very nerve-wracking for me because I was gonna be going on to a channel with like 800,000 subs, and most of them are going to hate Raid. So, and they're not gonna.
That's why I always bring on an expert guest, bro, to deflect. Like, this guy plays it. What do you want to?
I mean, it wasn't me. I'm asking this guy a
man.
question. But yeah,
Exactly.
no, it ended up being fun. It all worked out. So yeah, thanks for the chat, man. It was fun as always.
My pleasure, man. Thank you for having me.
All right, see ya.
All right.
Alrighty, so that's going to do it for this video. Huge shout out to my good friend Ash for taking the time to join me and give me his perspective on many different things. It was a lot of fun sitting down and having that conversation. So I hope you enjoyed, and a link to his channel will be down below in the video description and also a pinned comment. I would definitely check out his stuff if you have not already. So that'll do it for this one. As always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.